Hi Copic crafters, welcome back to Copic in the Craft Room. I am going to be doing a couple kind of back to back this week and next week. We are going to do a simple image because that was a huge success in January, that we wanted some images that were colored a little more simply for our beginners out there. So I have my favorite things, Pure Innocence image that we're going to color today. I'm also going to do some foliage techniques. So it's going to be a two-parter in that I'm going to add some foliage and color those up. There's going to be a photo tutorial that goes along with that. But I'm also going to color the stamp, and I'm going to use some basic colors, 3 color blends at the most, just to keep it really simple and straightforward. So I hope you will join me. Pick a favorite, very simple, basic stamp. And especially if you're new, we can always learn things if we're more advanced, but especially if you're new, this is your turn. Come in and play along. All right, part 1 of this cute little stamp from the Pure Innocence line at My Favorite Things. I got the question, and I know I said this already, I got the question about foliage and how to make that pop a little more. So I am going to do kind of a series for this. You'll have some photo tutorials and some video stuff. I always think it makes sense to do both while I'm doing them. Not only does it double up on my time usage, but I think there's a lot of people that learn better one way or the other, and some people have better access to Pinterest versus YouTube, or the other way around. So I'm going to start with the foliage, and then we are going to do this little girl as well, but I'm going to do it in 2 separate pieces. So these will be short, quick videos. So I'm going to start with the foliage today, and what I'm doing, obviously there's really only 2 little hints of this tree up here, but I'm thinking about using this full image for the card, that this would be my card front, or most of this would be my card front. And so I'd rather have more of this going on. So what I've got is I've got my Copic Multiliner, and this happens to be an SP, which means it's that permanent metal body that I would replace nibs and replace ink. That part doesn't matter. You could have a regular multiliner. This particular one is a 0.5, which means my nib is actually fairly large in comparison to how small they get. So I'm going to go in and I want to repeat this shape. And it kind of happens in a U. So I'm going to repeat it several times to fill in my tree. There's not a whole lot to explain here, but I'm just making that starburst shape kind of over and over with my multiliner. I could have done this in pencil first and then done it, but it was a simple enough shape I felt confident doing it without. The beauty of the multiliner is that this is going to dry really fast, and I can color directly over it, just like my Memento ink that I stamped with. I'm working on Express It blending card, which I know I don't always say, but almost always for these videos, that's what I'm using. So I'm going to use a series of 4 greens. I've got a G00, G03, G07, G46. So I'm going to use those 4 colors, and we're going to color just that area. Starting with that G00, and I'm filling in. I'm actually using my chisel nib, which I don't do as often, but for a big area like this, I'm not treating each section separately. I'm just filling the whole area in. Next is going to be my G03, and this time I've opened that brush nib and I'm flicking very short, like maybe 1/4 to 1/4 inch flicks, and I'm treating each little clump of leaves as an individual clump. So I'm coming kind of around the edges and leaving the centers a little bit lighter. And then you'll see as I come up to this top corner, I am going to bring some down from that top corner as well, so it doesn't end up too light up in that corner. G07 is next. Now this color I'm going to focus in as one group overlaps another, so where they're overlapping, and then just a few little flicks from those outer edges on each little group of leaves. Much less of this color though. Then I'm going to use some colorless blender and mist it or spray it onto a wash rag and gently press, holding about 2 to 3 seconds at least in each area to add some texture. And then very last, I'm actually going to come back with G46 at the very end to add that deeper shadow area where the leaves overlap, and also I'm going to take some of that texture back out in that area as well. So partway done. Next week, I'll try to make sure to put these back to back. We're going to come in and do a little more of her. Thanks for joining me this week, and I hope that made sense. Very quick, easy, but fairly effective. Thanks for joining me, and have a happy, colorful week.